Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at the teachings of Shi Heng Yi. Now, he's a Shaolin master with some pretty intriguing perspectives, on handling the curveballs life throws at you and, building a resilient and positive mindset.
Right.
We've got excerpts from one of his talks. And honestly, I'm really excited to unpack some of this stuff with you.
Yeah.
I think get ready for some serious aha moments because Shi Heng Yi really doesn't hold back. He talks about finding like this fullness beyond purpose,
Right.
how to use your breath to manage, those tough emotions, and even suggests that there's this positive side to those so-called negative experiences.
Interesting.
So to help us navigate all this, we've got our expert here. What stands out to you from Shi Heng Yi's teachings?
One of the things that really struck me was his perspective on challenges.
Okay.
He doesn't see them as setbacks, but as like integral parts of a journey toward growth and transformation. He even uses the analogy of a tree, needing resistance from the wind to develop strong roots.
So it's not about avoiding the tough stuff. It's about leaning into it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that resonates with me. There have been times in my own life when I faced what felt like insurmountable obstacles, and yet looking back, those experiences ultimately shaped me for the better.
Exactly. Think back to a time when you went through a difficult period. Maybe it was a job loss, a relationship ending, or just a period of intense stress.
Yeah, sure.
How did that experience, as challenging as it was, contribute to your personal growth? Perhaps it forced you to develop new skills, reassess your priorities, or even discover hidden strengths you didn't know you had.
Yeah, I love that. It flips the script on how we typically view challenges. Instead of dreading them, we can start to see them as opportunities for learning and evolution.
And this ties directly into Shi Heng Yi's emphasis on the power of mindset. He has this powerful statement, "With our thoughts, we create the world."
Whoa. Okay, that's a big one. I'm sensing a deep dive within a deep dive here. Does he mean we can just magically manifest whatever we want just by thinking about it?
It's not about denying the reality of external circumstances.
Okay.
We can't simply wish away things like illness, financial struggles, or global conflicts.
Sure.
What Shi Heng Yi is pointing to is our ability to choose how we interpret and respond to those events. Our thoughts shape our perceptions, our emotions, and ultimately our actions.
So two people facing the same challenge can have completely different experiences based on their mindset.
Precisely. One person might see a job loss as a devastating setback, while another might see it as an opportunity to pursue a long-held dream. It's not about ignoring the difficulty. It's about choosing to focus on the potential for growth and learning.
He also makes a distinction between hope and what he calls ideas. What's the difference?
He suggests that genuine hope is much deeper than just having fleeting ideas or aspirations. It's an inner resilience, an unwavering belief in the possibility of a positive outcome. Even when facing adversity, he compares it to the roots of a tree, anchoring us during storms.
So it's not just wishful thinking, it's a deep-seated trust in something larger than ourselves.
Exactly. And he suggests that true hope isn't something we can simply manufacture. It emerges from a connection to something meaningful, whether it's our values, our relationships, our faith, or even a deep sense of purpose. Think about the things in your own life that give you a sense of hope. What are those anchors that sustain you during challenging times?
That's a powerful question to consider. For me, it's often the support of loved ones and a belief in my own resilience. Now, another concept that really jumped out at me was Shi Heng Yi's idea of embracing the exchange. Can you unpack that a bit? It sounds a little cryptic.
He's referring to the constant interplay of positive and negative forces in life. He suggests that we often try to force positivity to suppress or deny the so-called negative emotions like sadness, anger, or fear. But he cautions against this.
So instead of trying to maintain a constant state of bliss, it's about acknowledging and accepting the full spectrum of human emotions.
Exactly. Shi Heng Yi emphasizes that both light and shadow are essential parts of life. Just like a tree needs both sunshine and rain to thrive, we need to experience the full range of emotions to grow and evolve. He even suggests that what we often perceive as negative experiences can be powerful catalysts for transformation.
That's interesting. So instead of resisting those challenging emotions, we can learn to embrace them as opportunities for growth.
Precisely. And this leads us to his concept of fullness, what he describes as a state of being, that transcends the need for external purpose.
Oh, I'm intrigued. It seems like everyone these days is obsessed with finding their purpose. But Shi Heng Yi is suggesting there's something beyond that.
He contrasts this idea of fullness with the modern emphasis
Huh.
on purpose-driven living.
Okay.
He suggests that purpose isn't something we necessarily need to seek out, but rather something that emerges naturally from fully engaging with life's experiences.
So instead of striving for a specific outcome or destination, it's about being present in the journey itself.
Yes. Think about a time when you felt truly alive, truly fulfilled. Were you striving for a particular goal, or were you simply immersed in the experience, allowing purpose to reveal itself organically?
That makes me think of those moments when I'm completely absorbed in a creative project or lost in a conversation with a close friend. There's a sense of flow of being fully present, and purpose seems to arise effortlessly from those experiences.
Exactly. And this idea of fullness ties back to his earlier points about embracing the exchange and the power of mindset. When we're open to experiencing the full range of life, both the highs and the lows, and we approach challenges with a growth mindset, we create the conditions for fullness to emerge.
That's a really empowering perspective. So it's not about chasing happiness or success, but about cultivating a state of being that allows us to find meaning and fulfillment in every experience.
Precisely. And this brings us to another important aspect of Shi Heng Yi's teachings, the importance of healthy relationships. He defines relationships broadly, encompassing not just romantic partnerships, but also friendships, family connections, and even our relationship with ourselves.
He's not limiting it to just romantic love. That's refreshing. I'm eager to hear more about his perspective on what makes a relationship truly healthy.
He highlights 3 key elements: connection, resonance, and a balanced exchange. Connection refers to that initial spark, that feeling of being drawn to another person. Resonance is about shared values, interests, or experiences. And a balanced exchange means there's a healthy flow of giving and taking, where neither party feels depleted or taken advantage of.
I think it's so valuable to have these criteria in mind when we assess our own relationships. Are they truly nourishing us? Is there a sense of mutual respect and support? Are we able to be our authentic selves within these connections?
Those are excellent questions to reflect on. And as you consider your own relationships, ask yourself whether they embody those qualities of connection, resonance, and balanced exchange. If not, what steps might you take to cultivate greater health and harmony within those bonds?
This has been so insightful already. I'm feeling inspired to take a closer look at how I'm approaching challenges, cultivating hope, and nurturing the relationships in my life.
It's just the beginning. Shi Heng Yi offers many more practical tools and perspectives that we can explore to navigate life's complexities with greater wisdom and resilience. Building on this idea of healthy relationships, Shi Heng Yi places a lot of emphasis on gratitude. He talks about recognizing the contributions of others and expressing appreciation for all that we have, both big and small.
I can definitely see how gratitude could tie into those healthy relationships we were just talking about. But does he talk about any specific benefits of gratitude beyond just making people feel good?
Absolutely. Shi Heng Yi views gratitude as more than just a polite social custom. He sees it as a powerful practice for cultivating well-being and fostering stronger connections. And there's actually a lot of research to back that up. Studies have shown that regularly practicing gratitude can have a remarkable impact on our mental and even physical health.
Wow, so it's not just about feeling warm and fuzzy, it's actually good for us. What are some of the benefits they've found?
Well, for starters, people who practice gratitude tend to experience lower levels of stress and anxiety. They also report feeling happier overall and having a more optimistic outlook on life. Gratitude even seems to boost the immune system, leading to better physical health and potentially even faster recovery from illness.
I'm starting to think I need to up my gratitude game.
Okay.
I know I feel good when I express appreciation to others, but I never really thought of it as a practice for improving my overall well-being.
And Shi Heng Yi takes it a step further. He suggests cultivating gratitude, even for the seemingly negative aspects of life, seeing those challenges as opportunities for growth and learning.
Wait, so be grateful for the tough stuff too. How does that work?
It's about shifting our perspective. Instead of focusing on what's wrong or what we lack, we can choose to see challenges as catalysts for growth, resilience, and even self-discovery.
So, for example, if I were to go through a difficult breakup, instead of wallowing in sadness and resentment, I could try to find gratitude for the lessons learned and the opportunity to grow as a person.
Exactly. It's not about denying the pain or minimizing the difficulty. It's about recognizing that even challenging experiences can contribute to our overall journey of growth and transformation.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all ties together. Shi Heng Yi is encouraging us to approach life with a mindset of openness, curiosity, and gratitude, embracing the full spectrum of experiences as opportunities for learning and evolution.
You're getting it. And another practice he emphasizes that can help us cultivate this mindset is the practice of self-reflection, specifically what he calls personal retreat.
He actually uses that term personal retreat. That sounds intriguing. What does he mean by that? Does it involve booking a solo trip to a secluded cabin in the woods?
It can certainly involve physical solitude, if that's accessible to you. But Shi Heng Yi emphasizes that it's more about creating a space for deep introspection and connection with your true self. He encourages us to take time to strip away all the external layers, our possessions, our roles, even our thoughts, and really look at who we are at our core.
It's like hitting the pause button on the external world and tuning into our inner landscape. I like that. But honestly, with the constant demands of work, family, and just life in general, finding that time and space for quiet reflection can feel incredibly challenging.
It definitely takes effort, especially in today's fast-paced world. But even small moments of intentional stillness can be incredibly valuable. It could be as simple as taking 5 minutes each morning to sit in silence and connect with your breath, or going for a walk in nature without any distractions.
I know I always feel more grounded and centered after spending time outdoors. Shi Heng Yi also delves into some techniques for mastering our emotions, which feels particularly relevant given all the stresses and challenges of modern life. What are some of his key insights in this area?
He begins by emphasizing the importance of conscious awareness. He points out that our feelings and actions are interconnected, and that by becoming more aware of our emotions, we can gain greater control over how we respond to them.
So it's about developing that self-awareness muscle, that ability to notice what we're feeling without immediately reacting.
Exactly. He's not suggesting we suppress or deny our emotions. In fact, he suggests we can consciously tap into a wide range of emotions. The key is to do so with intention and awareness rather than letting our emotions control us.
That reminds me of that old saying, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom.
That's a great way to put it. Shi Heng Yi is essentially encouraging us to create that space between feeling and reacting. And one of the techniques he offers for doing this is what he calls standing above our emotions.
Standing above our emotions. I'm picturing myself levitating over a swirling vortex of feelings.
It's not quite levitation, but the imagery is helpful. He's talking about cultivating a sense of detachment from the intensity of our emotions so we can observe them more objectively.
So instead of getting swept away by a wave of anger or sadness, we learn to ride the wave, observing it without getting completely submerged.
Exactly. It's like taking a step back and becoming an observer of your own emotional experience. Imagine you're watching yourself from a distance as if you were watching a character in a movie. How would you coach or guide yourself in that moment? What words of wisdom or encouragement would you offer?
Wow, that's a powerful exercise. I can see how shifting into that observer role could create some much needed space between us and our emotional reactions.
And from that place of detachment, you can then choose a more skillful response rather than reacting impulsively. Shi Heng Yi also offers a very practical tool for regulating emotions, combining deep breathing with intentional thoughts.
I'm all about practical tools. Tell me more.
This technique is rooted in the understanding that our breath and our mind are intimately connected. By consciously regulating our breath, we can influence our emotional state, and by infusing our breath with positive intentions, we can further shift our mindset.
So it's not just about taking deep breaths, it's about imbuing those breaths with a specific purpose.
Exactly. It could be as simple as inhaling with the thought, I am calm, and exhaling with the thought, I release stress. Or you could inhale with the thought, I am strong, and exhale with the thought, I overcome challenges.
This is starting to sound a lot like meditation. Is that what he's getting at?
It's definitely drawing on principles of mindfulness and meditation. And you don't need to be a seasoned meditator to benefit from this technique. Even just a few minutes of focused breathing with intention can have a noticeable calming and centering effect.
That makes me think about the importance of incorporating these types of practices into our daily routines, even if it's just for a few minutes at a time.
Absolutely. Shi Heng Yi emphasizes that these practices aren't meant to be passive. They require active engagement, consistent effort, and a willingness to experiment and find what works best for you.
It's a journey, not a destination. Right?
Exactly. There will be times when we feel balanced and centered and times when we feel swept away by our emotions. The key is to keep practicing, keep learning, and keep growing.
You know, it's fascinating how Shi Heng Yi weaves together these ancient wisdom traditions with such practical actionable advice.
He has a real knack for it. We're making these profound concepts accessible and relevant to our modern lives.
Yeah.
It's not about retreating from the world
Right.
and living as a monk. It's about integrating these principles into our everyday experiences.
And I think that's what makes his teachings so compelling. He's not just talking about lofty ideals. He's giving us tools we can actually use to navigate the challenges, the relationships, and even the emotional roller coasters of life.
Absolutely. He's very much about empowering individuals to take responsibility for their own well-being and create a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
One of the things that stood out to me was his suggestion that we don't need to get rid of all our difficult emotions. In fact, he even suggests that. We can learn to tap into a whole spectrum of emotions consciously. That seems pretty radical, doesn't it?
It does challenge the conventional wisdom that we should always strive for happiness and avoid negative emotions at all costs.
Right.
But Shi Heng Yi's perspective is that all emotions, even the ones we typically label as negative, have a purpose and can be valuable sources of information and growth.
So instead of trying to suppress or deny those difficult emotions, we can learn to approach them with curiosity, awareness.
Exactly. He suggests that by choosing to experience them consciously, we can harness their energy and direct it in skillful ways.
Okay.
For example, anger, when channeled appropriately, could be a powerful motivator for positive change. Sadness can connect us to our empathy and compassion, and fear can alert us to potential dangers and help us stay safe.
It's almost like we become alchemists of our own emotions, transforming what we might perceive as lead into gold.
That's a beautiful analogy. And he even goes so far as to say that we can consciously choose to experience ill will if we want to, but he emphasizes that there's rarely any benefit to dwelling in that state.
So we have the power to choose which emotions we cultivate and amplify.
Precisely. It all comes back to that concept of taking responsibility for our own inner state, recognizing that we have more agency than we often realize.
This has been such an eye-opening depth dive. I feel like I've gained a whole new set of tools and perspectives for navigating life's complexity.
And remember, it's a continuous journey of learning, experimenting, and refining these practices to see what works best for you.
It's a journey, not a destination, right?
Exactly.
Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the wisdom of Shi Heng Yi. We hope you found these insights as valuable and empowering as we did. Remember, the power to create a more fulfilling and meaningful life lies within you.